Ombudsman, or should we say ombudsperson, Mercedes Gutierrez, is given not only the responsibility of curbing corruption and violations of human rights, but is also granted the plenary power, and again I quote our Constitution, to stop, prevent, and correct any abuse or impropriety in the performance of duties, close quotation. She could prosecute, suspend, dismiss, or otherwise penalize erring officials. Like the judiciary, the Ombudsman enjoys fiscal autonomy and independence. Let the Ombudsman perform her constitutional duty. If she refuses or cannot do so, let her resign or be replaced. But let not civilians, never mind how well-intentioned, perform her duties for her. In comparison to the Ombudsman, a citizens' committee does not enjoy fiscal autonomy, but must depend on the generosity of the political branches of the government for its personnel and funding. It does not have coercive powers to compel the attendance of witnesses or hold them in contempt for ignoring or violating its orders. Its actions and orders may be challenged in court, resulting in unnecessary complications and delays. Moreover, a citizens' committee merely duplicates unnecessarily and expensively the work of another government agency that is well-funded and well-empowered, both by our Constitution and by our laws, to deal with the problem more efficiently and speedily. I even think that the creation of such citizens' committee is an insult to the Ombudsman. It shows utter lack of confidence in her competence and independence to perform her constitutional duties and powers. My point, ladies and gentlemen, is that we have enough laws and enough democratic institutions in our country to fight graft and to uphold human rights. Like the Ombudsman, the Commission on Audit, not to mention the largely cosmetic Presidential Anti-Graft Commission. What is needed is leadership by example by our President to stamp out graft. The Office of the Ombudsman's exercise of its independence and diligence to prosecute monstrous scalawags, and the Commission on Audit's dogged insistence on accountability of public officials. Parenthetically, the same insistence should be made on other institutions, like the Supreme Court, the Commission on Elections, and the Civil Service Commission, to perform their duties without fear or favor and with integrity and devotion. The problem is that many of our institutions have been metastasized by incompetence, shoddiness, and deference to the opposing authority more than to the Constitution and to our people. Unfortunately, while our Constitution and laws have created laudable democratic institutions and given them sufficient powers to solve the demons of corruption and human rights violations, far too many of the incumbents do not have the moral courage and the competence to perform their mandates. What we need, therefore, is not a change of constitutions or laws, but a change of our officials. In fact, not just a change of officials, but a change in our officials from the inside out. How can our officials set a change of heart from the inside out? I say, let them return to ethics, to old-fashioned principles like integrity, humility, fidelity, patriotism, and prudence. Basic norms that must be internalized as the primary source of personal success and enduring happiness. Wherever one is, whether in the government, or in the convent, or in the simple private life. For government officials, the ethical standard is contained in Republic Act 6713, entitled An Act Establishing a Code of Conduct and Ethical Standards for Public Officials and Employees. This law begins with the declaration of policy that, and I quote, public officials and employees shall at all times be accountable to the people and shall discharge their duties with utmost responsibility, integrity, competence, and loyalty, act with patriotism and justice, lead modest lives, and uphold public interest over private interest. Close quotation. In our world of shortcuts and make-believe, society has bastardized ethics into public relations techniques. Instead of emphasizing the ethical standards law, our so-called leaders display double standards, one for kin and friends, another for the rest of mankind. Engage in double-speak, or talk of one thing and do quite another. Employ so-called spin doctors who try to create an image of public acceptability for their clients without changing old habits and ways. Such duplicity is fundamentally flawed. Instead of being a beacon of success and happiness, pretension is really a source of anxiety and frustration because the subject knows that the public image is false and dishonest. It does not represent reality. Yes, duplicity is the opposite of integrity. It is a malice that befuddles the inner fabric of society and is the cause of many national ills. The game of pretend has been used as a substitute for integrity. As a result, our character as a people has been subverted. It is interesting to note, ladies and gentlemen, that more than 90% of our people are Christians who profess to know, to follow, and to serve Jesus Christ, the God who preached that the truth shall set us free, the God who condemned violence, selfishness, and corruption. Why then is our country one of the poorest, most drug-ridden, and most violent in this part of the world? The answer is that Christians live dichotomized lives. They are Christians only in their thoughts, not in their actions. Christians only in their faith, not in their deeds. Christian only while worshiping inside the churches, not while working in their offices. In secular language, our leaders lead duplicitous lives, lives engendered by public relations techniques, not by ethics, by pretension, not by truth, by deceit, not by integrity. The result is not only personal disillusionment of the individual himself or herself, but degradation of society as well. The solution? I say, a return to ethics. The old-fashioned ethical values of integrity, fidelity, hard work, humility, patriotism, honor, and rectitude. To change society, to change our government, we need not just a change of leaders, but a change in leaders from the inside out. The change we're looking for embraces the whole person, head, heart, hands, feet. Head so as to know what traits and habits are to be reformed. Heart so as to have the will and the courage to change. Hands and feet so as to carry out the reforms willed. In simple language, what is my message to you then today? Well, my message can be encapsulated in two parts. First, I urge you to insist on the strict enforcement of the ethical standards law. And second, I bid you to strengthen our democratic institutions by demanding from our officials the faithful performance of their constitutional and legal duties. In making the second recommendation to strengthen our democratic institutions, I make two caveats. One, the Commission on Human Rights can rightfully claim exemption from the sweeping condemnation